Peace to you this morning. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Pastor. Peace to you as well.
Where'd you get those glasses from? This is Sabbath Rachel Lafleur, everybody. Sabbath she has transitioned from being the co-host of the Man Report. She still is co-host in that regard. But she now runs the current events class. Is that right? That's what you're now doing?
Yes, sir.
How are your students at reacting to that? You got some new episodes coming up on this week as well. Is that right?
Yeah, I think that they've missed it. When I meet with them, you get the feel that, first of all, they're excited to see one another because they're joking around and laughing a lot, even while we're doing the recordings. So they enjoy it.
Sabbath, I want to get to a couple of things, but with respect to this COVID-19 business, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is that coronavirus. But
Yes.
I'm now transitioning to, I think, for historical purposes, because there are many viruses, coronaviruses, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, you sent me an article the other day stating that Chris Cuomo, the big anchor man on CNN, right? Big time anchor man, big. His brother's Andrew Cuomo, the governor of New York. He contracted coronavirus, right?
Yes.
And then later on, about a week after he was down in the basement, I heard his wife Christina contracted coronavirus, right?
Yes.
Now, where you come in is that you said you read an article where his wife, Christina, was taking Tribulation Trumps. Well, maybe I don't know if she was taking his advice, but she was taking Clorox baths. Can you explain that to me?
Yeah, the reports indicate, and actually she said this on herself, she has a blog, and Christina Cuomo stated that she was directed by a doctor who deals with natural remedies to take a bath with Clorox, using Clorox. Now, her defense for this is that she used 80 gallons of water and just about a quarter to a half a cup of the Clorox solutions, but that this was what her doctor instructed her to do as a way to combat, along with some other things, the COVID-19.
Wait. 80 gallons of water?
Yes.
Was that in a swimming pool or a bathtub? I mean, when you put 80 gallons of water, you can't get in the bathtub, right? Was that over a period of time, or was that? I mean, was that the bath prescription each time? Oh, Now this guy.
Yeah, she didn't give specifics as to how often she did it, but her defense was that the Clorox use was really minuscule compared to the amount of water that she used.
I want to get on to Chris Cuomo, not say anything about this, but just,
Yes.
you're a mother and and administrator and everything. But it would seem to me that most people who wash clothes with Clorox would interact with the same, per 80 gallons of water per half a cup, a quarter cup of. That's not a lot of Clorox, right?
No. Yeah, it's not.
And if you use Clorox for washing things, right? People use Clorox to sanitize, to disinfect. That's about the same. It's on your hands. It's not a bath.
Right.
I don't know. I don't see how that could be very effective. Because listen, anyway, let's forget that. But can you want to comment on that before I move to the next item on that the whole matter?
Well, I think, the fact that she's trying to defend it by saying that she only used a small amount of Clorox as opposed to the water she used. I think the whole mindset that this was going to work and this was going to combat coronavirus just echoes what the dumbness that Tribulation Trump stated, was that if you ingest this, we know that these disinfectants actually do cure and kill the coronavirus. So I think that the same mindset is what her doctor obviously thought when she directed her to do this.
You said the dumbness of, and this has been the news. It has been leading the news for the last 4 or 5 days now. Trump telling people to inject themselves with disinfectant. I mean, what do you think about this? She's supposed to be the wife of this big time newscaster, going to a quack who told her to take a bath in Clorox. By the way, she may have been lying too. You can't trust these people. She may have been taking.
That's right.
That bathtub could have been full of Clorox.
Yes, absolutely, Pastor.
You know, she could have
And
been lying.
what I think about it is that, when I, first of all, to hear Tribulation Trump stated is one thing. We already know he's crazy. The fact that people are actually following him is a whole nother story. And so what I think is that there is no doubt when we talk about reprobate mind and God having giving people a reprobate mind, it's an understatement when we watch what JFF is doing as they're following Tribulation Trump.
Let me ask you a question, and then we'll hold that point because I want you to come back to that. You know, her husband Chris has the virus as well. Did he take a
Yes.
bath? You
He did
know,
have the virus. As of late, he has recovered from it. She got it, and now I read that their 14-year-old son now has COVID-19.
yeah. But did Christina influence Chris? They both named Chris, right? His wife named Chris. She
Yes.
named what? Oh, Lord have mercy. Did she tell her husband to take a Clorox bath? What do you
I'm
think?
sure she did. I mean, from the articles that I read, it stated that she and her family, this was one of the things that they used to combat having the coronavirus. So I thought it was hypocrisy on the part of Chris Cuomo that he did not mention any of this as he talked about Tribulation Trump and the statements that he made regarding these disinfectants.
Well, I mean, you're right. That's why I want to talk to you today because it seems to me a bit hypocritical if his wife is following the instructions of a quack doctor who's following the instructions of Tribulation Trump, who's following this ludicrous instruction, of using disinfectant. I don't know, maybe everybody has, I can't imagine who on planet Earth has not heard the Trump's instruction. But I'm going to ask the engineer if he got that. Do you have that instruction, Mr. Engineer? I'm going to pull it up, Sabbath, so people can hear it. I think it's clip number 2, Mr. Engineer. There may be somebody who haven't heard it. But my question after this, Sabbath, will be, if she, and Chris Cuomo knows it. First of all, he should have said to his wife, "Don't do that.
That's
It's
right.
quackery."
Yeah.
But if she did it, that makes him partner and give me. I wouldn't let Elizabeth take something if I thought it. I wouldn't let Elizabeth take anything. If Trump said, pick up $1 billion on 125th Street, I wouldn't let her go get it.
Absolutely, Pastor. You're absolutely right.
So why is Chris Cuomo letting his wife follow Trump's instruction? This engineer. I want people to see it. Hold on, Sabbath. Hold tight for a
Okay.
second.
So I ask Bill a question that probably some of you are thinking of if you're totally into that world, which I find to be very interesting. So supposing we hit the body with a tremendous, whether it's ultraviolet or just very powerful light, and I think you said that hasn't been checked, but you're going to test it. And then I said, supposing you brought the light inside the body, which you can do either through the skin or in some other way. And I think you said you're going to test that too. Sounds interesting.
Get the right folks who could.
Right, and then I see the disinfectant where it knocks it out in a minute, 1 minute. And is there a way we can do something like that by injection inside or almost a cleaning? Because you see it gets on the lungs and it does a tremendous number on the lungs. So it'd be interesting to check that. So that you're going to have to use medical doctors with. But it sounds interesting to me. So we'll see, but the whole concept of the light, the way it kills it in 1 minute, that's pretty powerful.
Mr. President, after the presentation we just saw about the heat and the humidity, is it dangerous for you to make people think they would be safe by going outside in the heat, considering that so many people are dying in Florida, considering that this virus has had an outbreak in Singapore, places that are hot and are humid?
Here we go. The new headline is Trump asks people to go outside. That's dangerous. Here we go. Same old group. You ready? I hope people enjoy the sun. And if it has an impact, that's great. I'm just hearing this, not really for the first time. I mean, there's been a rumor that, a very nice rumor that you go outside in the sun or you have heat and it does have an effect on other viruses. But now we get it from one of the great laboratories of the world, I have to say. Covers a lot more territory than just this. This is probably an easy thing, relatively speaking, for you. I would like you to speak to the medical doctors to see if there's any way that you can apply light and heat to cure. you know, that if you could. And maybe you can, maybe you can't. Again, I say maybe you can, maybe you can't. I'm not a doctor. But I'm like a person that has a good, you know what.
But sir, you're the president.
Deborah, have you ever heard of that?
Sabbath,
Heat
Sabbath,
and the light
I in
relative
particular want
to...
to hear. This man's the president of the United States, the leader of the free world, the most powerful man on planet Earth. They're listening to him in China and Australia and India. They're listening to him in Italy. They're listening to him in Jamaica. You know.
Yeah.
And he's telling people that to use disinfectant, try to inject it into the body. And I would think that you would think, I think that would be stupid. Nobody would listen to this. But Chris Cuomo's wife did. What's your opinion? First of all, what do you think about Trump saying that? What's your run on that? Let me hear what you got to say. I'll sit back and chill.
Well, Pastor, you stated it a few weeks ago. And what you stated was that as each day goes on, we're going to see Trump sink deeper and deeper into the abyss mentally. And that's exactly what we are witnessing. Every day he's going back and he's saying some outrageous things to talk about things that we've never heard before and things that we've never seen before. That is such an understatement with Tribulation Trump. And to think that it's going to get a lot worse. But it's obvious that his mind is deteriorating even more so. And then when he tries to defend it by saying he was just being sarcastic, as if that's going to make it any better, is absolutely ridiculous, because this is not the time to be sarcastic. He's the president of the United States. He's the leader of the free world. And to try to defend it by saying, oh, I was just being sarcastic, I wasn't being serious, it's absolutely ridiculous.
You're right. He is. I think he's greatly deteriorating, and it's only a matter of time now before he totally explodes. That's enough for him. This is a bit of a news blog we do, looking at spiritual wickedness in high places for the most part, making some observations about it and giving people a biblical foundation to the way of interpreting, rather than have Sean Hannity or Laura Ingraham or Janine Pirro or Anderson Cooper or Rachel Maddow or Don Lemon, Rush Limbaugh interpret what's going on in the world. You come to me and I'll tell you based on what the Word of God says. They'll just give you their worldly, sinful view. But the Manning Report will tell you what God has said, whether to say yea or nay, whether to go or to stay. You'll be led by the word of Almighty God. Come to the Manning Report on a daily basis to interpret the spiritual wickedness in high places, because there's plenty of it that's going on. And so I'm the Lord's servant, James David Righteous Rebel Manning, and I'm here to serve you with news and information.